very open competition. It's a test of nerves as well, and watching those nerves very closely alongside me in the commentary box, our resident gymnast expert Monica Phelps, as we look at the vault start list for the men. Suzuki, his second final. Sherbo, well, he's on target for a possible 4 gold medals. Mizutin, Zhao Shuang, Yu Okrul, Ivankov, the all-around world champion of 94 at just 19 years of age. Yo and Canavas, the European junior champion. Monica, the beam is a test of nerve.
Oh, it is. And the finals, the individual apparatus finals, really strategy plays a very important role in apparatus finals, because the gymnasts don't know whether to risk all with the ultimate skill to get gold, or to play safe and let the other gymnasts make mistakes. But I think on the beam, it really, you have to be positive. So I think that the answer to beam is risk all. And that is only when you'll get the superb performances. But Lavinia Milicevic won last year. She went up last. And I really think that it's going to be a tall order for her, because magnificent final, some brilliant gymnasts here.
And of course, Milicevic will be doing battle with the 2 American girls. It's our feeling here in the commentary box. Shannon Miller looking to follow in the footsteps of Kim Zmeskal, the world champion in the individual finals in Paris in 1992. It really will be a very closely contended battle, as each of the gymnasts are given 30 seconds to warm up. Sad news today for the Australian fans. Joanna Hughes not able to enter due to that tumble and fall on her ankle that she sustained in yesterday, the day before yesterday, in the all-around competition, and therefore Svetlana Korkina of Russia, as the first reserve, steps in for the youngster from Australia, Joanna Hughes. It will be Nadia Hattigan who will get the competition underway. Just 15 years of age, really one of the surprise and rising stars of this competition, and a marvellous 4th position in the all-around competition. She had a bit of a tumble in the bars final yesterday, but she's looking to put that behind her now and continue Romania's, well, excellent run in this World Championships, lying on top of the medal tables with 2 gold medals so far.
And Hattigan, just looking at the depth of her breathing in her chest, looks nervous. Her breathing a bit uptight. And can't afford even an arm wave. Micro deductions on beam, 0 5s. First tumble, flick, layout, layout. Notice how she undercuts the first flick-flack, which is normally a long movement, to get as many skills on that beam as possible. I think 5 is the most I've witnessed. Romanians to date, in recent years, the owner of the world title more times than the Soviet gymnasts, but of course now the Soviet gymnasts having more chance because there are more of them entering from their individual member states. Hattigan newly in the senior ranks, just in her 15th year, competed in the Junior European, and going solidly. Nice shoulder stand. The incidental link-ups on beam, travelling across the beam whilst low to it, take a tremendous amount of training. She's done extremely well, other than the mount, which was rather hesitant due to nerves, but she overcame her nerves and ended up with a stable, competent routine, finishing there with a double back. Rather split tuck, and she'll be penalised for that. There, the 4 series. I was going to say 3 of the 4, but the whole 4 series. And here the dismount, the Arab Spring, that's the cartwheel with the quarter turn, and a double back tucked. But can't really afford to land and step back if you want a gold medal.
A few words from Milicevic there. Still to come, the defending champion. Well, we begin the first of the 8 finalists in the men's vault final. Masanori Suzuki, This is second final of the World Championships for the newcomer from Japan. Suzuki, 8th in the floor final. Let the butterflies and the nerves get the better of his performance yesterday, but he can only learn. And his first experiences of world-class championship competition are good. And let's hope that he can build on that experience from yesterday and try and claim a medal or improve his world ranking in the vault.
I think this is the only way when you're a newcomer to a world-class final, is to approach it philosophically and be thankful of your placing and go in and do your utmost. And if you go wrong, then you can't drop any lower than 8th. Handspring, Rudy out. And that's a handspring onto the end of the horse, or almost to the end, long horse for men's. 1.5 somersaults, because we're moving from the hands to the feet, and integrated in that 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twists, commonly called a Rudy out. There in the middle of the horse, no deductions for where the plant of the hands is, but a long vault. Can you see the white tape marks? Look for the white tape marks on the mat. The maximum one is 4 meters, and we're not exactly parallel, but he looks to me as though he's near the 3.5 meter mark, which will give him a bonus. And that was a good debut in a big vault final. The men in this competition have 2 vaults to do, both difficult vaults, and he's just sitting down, relaxing those legs, letting the muscle fall away from the bone and replenish the blood supply. 9.6 for the first one, and if he keeps that average up, he won't disgrace himself.
And a complete contrast to the facial expressions and body language of his final yesterday. He really was desperately nervous in the floor final, but already starting to look comfortable with the likes of competition against Sherbo, Mizyutin and Ivankov.
But I think that Yanis Melisanides yesterday, it was enough to take the guts out of anybody's legs. He was so superb. But perhaps Suzuki feels a little more at home on vault. Japanese have had a great tradition on vault in the mid-years, between 62 and 72. Second vault. Yes, well, he closed his eyes and prayed a little. I don't know whether we just caught a glimpse of him before the second vault. It's a tall order to do 2 difficult vaults, and there the double twisting Kazamatsu just didn't quite hit. In fact, he hit the floor, so 5/10 deduction on the landing.
Now on balance beam from the USA, Shannon Miller.
Shannon Miller for the United States of America on the beam, looking to claim a gold medal in an apparatus where she came so close in Barcelona, only to find herself with a silver to take back to Edmond in Oklahoma.
And this is an unbelievably cool performance. The mount was so solid. There wasn't a movement. 360-degree pirouette, absolutely solid. Flick, semi, both to 1. Full twisting, Shannon really taking risks. Only did it half twist. Sussed out how it went, and she had that as a repeat skill in her all-around event, but she's popped another half twist on now, and I think this will really psych out the oppo. In other words, frighten those to follow. Dismount, full in, back out. Oh, beat that if you can. That was absolutely superb. She may not have every single quality alive, being a gymnast. She's proved by her all-round title that she's the recipient of most qualities, but the ability to compete like that is superb.
And Shannon Miller obviously brimming with confidence in her challenge for that all-around gold medal. She scored 9.862. The landing solid and perfect. She really has put the pressure on that lady on your screens. Natia Hadigan goes first, 9.687. But one feels that Shannon Miller will better that score quite considerably. We return to the vault to see Sherbo in action.
And Sherbo's on good form. Double twisting Yurchenko. Little step back on landing, but it was a big vault. And by big, I mean high and long. Just watch the lift from the top, which shows a beautiful plant straight up. Not as long as the Korean normally produces, and he's to follow. The reigning world champion, but Sherbo in great form. Now he's got to produce a second one. Little bit of arm bend, but nice tight twist.
First finalist of the 8, Suzuki of Japan, 9.275 the average score, and the 8.950 for that tumble on the second vault, letting Suzuki down. But the defending world and European champion, Vitaly Sherbo, 23 years of age, he's already claimed 1 gold in the floor final yesterday, a bronze in the all-around competition, the big shock of these world championships. But he came out, well, he really did come out very focused and positive indeed, determined to make amends for that defeat by his young teammate Ivan Ivankov, who also competes in this vault competition. So Sherbo, well, in a frame of mind, wanting to teach the youngster a lesson or two. He's on target, 9.662, so he'll need to find something special in this second vault if he's to draw ahead of the rest and also put the pressure on Ivankov and the European junior champion Canvas of Turkey, who are still to come.
Of course, Sherbo, the owner of a new vault, I can't quite see the vault number, so we don't know what he's going to produce. Second vault. Oh ho! And that was one of Sherbo's special ones. Half twist on. And just look at the cool face. Secretly, he's dying to jump up and down. Absolutely dying to. Just watch the skill on this. The Arab Spring entry. And look for the half twist onto the apparatus. Full twist on, sorry. 1.5 somersault, full twist off. And the vault is called a Sherbo because he redesigned the Yurchenko.
This is the first of 3 finals and 3 possible golds for Vitaly Sherbo. And we said he needed something special on the second, and he's done that. 9.875. Shannon Miller not only goes into first position, but betters her score on the beam exercise from the all-around competition. And that really will take some beating and puts an awful lot of pressure on the next competitor, Lilia Podkopoyeva of the Ukraine, 6th in the all-around competition, and this her first ever beam final.
And I forecast that Podkopoyeva will be a world champion in the future. Superb gymnast. There the Chen, which is the flick-flack to chest roll down in the piked position. A beautiful gymnast. Not waif-like, but solid. Very, very capable. And much more a natural gymnast than Shannon Miller. Shannon, precise, but very mechanical. Oh yes, bold. Finding the tumbles easy. Change leg split into straddle jab. A necessary combination, but there, her nerves showing, and a little bit of bad technique on the full spin, but the boldness to attack that simple full pirouette. It appears simple, but it's difficult because you're disorientating yourself. Pull him back out and jump to the side. She's got a few more finals to face to cope with the pressure. But Podkopoyeva, certainly a force to be reckoned with in the future. A beautiful gymnast, a natural gymnast. That special attack, squeezing the beam with the top of her thighs on the landing. And here the dismount, not one of the best by any means, but it's a big dismount to put on the end of a beam routine when you're only 15 years old.
Scherbo, 9.674, goes into first position in the men's vault and sets the pace for the others to beat. And one of those challengers from the Ukraine, Grigory Mizyutin, 24 years of age, from Lugansk, just outside the medals in the floor final yesterday, and saw his world title disappear to the Belarusian Vitaly Scherbo, and he is the man that he needs to beat.
And Mizyutin, one of the few owners of a 2.5 somersault. And oh, there it is. It's a blind landing, and going from fast rotation, 2.5 somersaults is an awful lot off the top of the horse. And you really have to spot something in front of you, kick out, and he was just a bit under-rotated.
And he also seems to have damaged his ankle or knee on landing here. The slow motion will show us exactly how hard he did land.
It's more a jar because the floor hits you rather than you hitting it. You kick out and really, to be honest, hope you're in the right place, so it's a jar right through the lower back. But what a pity for Mizyutin. He'll be angry with himself. He really is hungry for a world title. Didn't enter the all-around. Saved all of his energies trying to glean a gold medal from these championships. That's really put him out. 9.15, 5/10 away for the fall.
Brave attempt by Mizyutin. If he'd have landed it, it certainly would have been a higher score. So his second vault with the two scores added together and averaged. That's almost impossible now for Mizyutin to score above 9.674. Scherbo leading the men's vault.
A big one and a high one. Let his knees go slack at the end, though. I think Mizyutin pretty upset. And if I'm not mistaken, a tear in his eye. This from the handspring section. There's the handspring. And single somersault with Barani out.
Well, we'll take a commercial break, but we'll be back with the score of Mizyutin and his challenge on Vitaly Scherbo. Welcome back as Lilia Podkopayeva goes into second position in the women's beam final, and Oksana Fabrichinova of Russia still chasing 9.875. Shannon Miller leads this final for the United States of America.
And Oksana Fabrichinova, one of the tiniest and yet most beautiful gymnasts on the world circuit, made her debut to international gymnastics in Birmingham last year, but unfortunately fell. Very positive, and Leonid Arkiev ought to be proud of the new generation of elegant gymnasts coming from the Russians. We thought, with the breakdown of the Soviet Union into member states and the lack of funding for gymnastics, the very much reduced funding, that the standard might drop, but this doesn't appear to be so. That's a kip to neck spring. Like Podkopayeva, using the headstand within the routine. This very beautiful gymnastics. Pull him back out. Well, I'll stick my neck out there. I can't see it beating Miller because Miller was absolutely and utterly precise, but as regards charisma and beauty, that certainly does exceed Shannon's beauty. Shannon mechanical, and that's required on beam. Just lack of precision on those arms all mini deductions that Fabrician is going to lose.
Well, there is still the defending world champion and Olympic silver medalist to come. 9.187 for Misyutin. Disappointing third position. He knows that if he had landed that first vault, he could have easily dislodged Vitaly Sherbo. 9.674 is still the best score for the vault. So the competition is by no means over as Li Zhaoshuang, the 22-year-old from Beijing, finds himself needing the performance of his life to overhaul the defending world and Olympic champion.
Well, it was a superb vault aerially, but of course the dropped chest and the waving arms don't add to the score of the vault. The Chinese really struggling to get into the medals on vault because they've only had a gold medal once since 1950. But this super work, double twist, quite long, nearly at the 3.5 meter mark, but the landing, the deep chest, proves that he was struggling to maintain the landing. Their handspring and 1.5 twist.
In Barcelona 2 years ago, it was fourth position, just outside the medals, and that scoring there keeps him on target. He really could now, with just a slight better improvement or the same score on his second vault, and Li Zhaoshuang of China can take the lead away from the Olympic and world champion Vitaly Sherbo.
And to the left of your screens, the 9.8 indicates the value of the vault. No vault in men's gymnastics is valued above 9.8. The extra 2 tenths they gain from bonus from height and length. Oh dear. Potentially a brilliant vault. Yes, he rolls his eyes. But the low landing will cost him, and he'll be unable to equal Sherbo's score now. But the quality of his vaulting, certainly up there amongst the very, very best. Just getting to his feet. Watch, there's the handspring. And the full twist first, and the somersault second. That's 1.5 with full twist, but the full in the first somersault. That's why it's called a full in, front out.
9.618. Well, he'll be happy with that. And that puts him into the silver medal position. 2 Koreans still to come. And the European junior champion, Fabricianova, goes into the bronze medal position. 9.712. She's also got to watch the defending world and silver medalist from Birmingham a year ago before she is confirmed as a medalist in the 94 World Championships.
Ladies and gentlemen, on balance beam from Romania, Lavinia Milicevic.
Well, this is the defending world beam champion, Lavinia Milicevic. She's had some highs and some lows in this competition. Silver medal behind Shannon Miller in the all-around competition. She needs to put all of that behind her now and find something very special in yet another Romanian and American battle.
Milicevic works her very best under pressure, and I think that she's experiencing tremendous pressure. Oh, she did that in the previous round, and that is just enough to knock her out of the medals. From what we've seen so far, Fabricianova in third. Not good enough. It's a great pity because she's made a good recovery. And had we not seen 3 such good performances, I couldn't be so positive. Jump into the Miller flick. That's back onto the hands with the quarter twist. Milicevic really has felt the pressure these championships She was so hungry to win the overall title and looked very positive on her first appearance on the day of the competition 3 qualifications. But I think that she's burned out. She used up 101% of her energy in the all-around event, and now she really has run out of physical and mental stamina. Well, for Milicevic, certainly a great effort. What a pity about the big wobble on the side salto, but a good recovery into the double back, but unfortunately can't be good enough for the medals.
And the Romanian and defending champion, who was the only performer in these World Championships with a possibility of claiming 5 golds. So far, it's just a silver in the all-around and a bronze in the vault. And once again, the nerves and the pressure getting the better of the 17-year-old's performance. And 9.875, well, certainly will not be bettered. The first of the 2 Koreans in the men's vault final, Yoo Uk-raeul, 2 times world champion in 1991 and 92. Korea really has a fine tradition in this apparatus. Also a bronze medalist in the Olympic Games of Barcelona. The best scoring in the qualification rounds for this final. If anybody has the ability to upstage Vitaly Scherbo, well, it's the man on your screen right now. A bronze medalist in Birmingham in 93.
And that's a good start from him. Handspring Rudy out. That's 1.5 twists and 1.5 somersaults and a long vault. A little wobbly on the landing. But if he can produce 2 such vaults, he'll skip into the lead over Scherbo. Oh, the slow-mo revealed there a little crinkling of the knees, suggesting under rotation, which wasn't so obvious. So I'm afraid that that vault will be lower than I first suspected in score.
Well, no stranger to world-class competition. And he's had the world in his hands in Indianapolis and in Paris. 9.612. So he also needs to find something very special in the second vault. Remember, Scherbo leads 9.674. It's the average of the 2 vaults.
And he won't like that. He really has flown around the world since 91, winning every conceivable world title. And really, he's known as king of the vault. And I think he's just about to be dethroned. Got to produce something really special. Oh dear. Well, you've got to give the man 10 out of 10 for guts, because he could have played safe and smiles about it. Well, a man of his experience has got to be philosophical, and as I said, it was all about strategy. You either went for the ultimate in skill to risk getting the gold if it came off, and he went and it didn't come off. So dethroned the king of world vaulting.
He knew that he needed something very special indeed after the disappointments of the first vault. He tries to go, but as Monica Phelps has pointed out before, it's a blind landing. And the blind landing getting the better of Yoo Uk-raeul's second vault. Milicevic, the defending beam champion, sees her title disappear as she now lies in 5th position, 9.675. Julia Stratmann of Germany, her first final, her first real big event. And this is one I'm sure her coach will put down to experience, but very pleasing indeed to see a member of the women's German squad qualifying for a final in these World Championships in Brisbane.
And what a piece to make an international debut on. Big jump, and that wobble costly for her. But Julia really has to use this as a wonderful experience. Oh dear, she's off. 5/10, lacking really in pace there, going rather tentatively. But when you're an outsider, it's very difficult to go in and be bold and brazen on beam. Afraid that in your superhuman efforts to do your very best, it might all go so sadly wrong. So far, a fall and a big wobble. In debt. Side summy. Landed that better than Milicevic, though. And very much less experienced. Only 15. Trains at Gladbach. Oh, she nearly missed her foot on the landing. And I think the landing and the fall was like a delayed mental reaction. We'll see that in slow-mo. She so nearly went from one foot. But it's not going to be a particularly memorable occasion for her. But her coach seems a lovely, gentle lady. There she was going off all the way, landed with her heel outward, which means her hip overlapping the beam. Just watch this dismount. Yes, her left foot on the side of the beam. And so, 2 falls in debt.
Third position, 9.356. Another world champion loses his title. The all-around world champion of 1994, possibly the sensation of these world championships. The 19-year-old former European champion gets his second opportunity to claim another gold, and he'll also be competing in the high bar final today. It could be 3 out of 3 for Ivankov.
Well, he didn't nail the landing, but his shape in the air is beautiful. He really is a beautiful gymnast. He runs naturally and well, takes up every shape with ease. Just a little bit over-twisted. He's still twisting as he hit the floor. Could see that by the movement to the left of the horse and the drop of the right shoulder. He really hadn't lined out and extended in time.
Well, Ivankov has now stepped out of the shadow of the number 1 Belarusian Vitaly Sherbo, possibly feeling a little pressure, competing for the first time as the all-around champion of 1994, but, well, I'm sure it's something he's quite happily living with. The question is, can he beat his compatriot for a second time in these World Championships? 9.674. Sherbo still leads the aggregate, and 9.525. That's a long way down for Ivankov. And he, like Ukrayul, will now know that something very special is needed if he's to pull himself ahead of Sherbo or into the medals in this men's vault final.
And at 19, to produce 2 difficult vaults in a world final, which he's going to do, very, very difficult. Difficult. One and a half twisting Yurchenko. Well, he's obviously done an awful lot of work through the years to be able to produce 2 high-rating vaults at the age of 19. And this now all-round world champion, I think, is in line for a long and fruitful career.
Well, it's the first time we've seen Ivankov since he's claimed that all-around gold. We'll take a quick commercial break, and we'll be back to see if he's once again beaten Vitaly Sherbo. Well, disappointment there for Julia Stratman, 6th position. Well, hopefully she'll put that disappointment behind her and gain from the experience of her first World Championship final. And the challenge for the beam gold continues. Silver medal in this apparatus a year ago for Dominique Dawes, and once again she's chasing her teammate Shannon Miller. The target, 9.875.
And Dominique Dawes, extremely powerful in standing jumps. Flick series. Oh, yes. Very positive and nicely continuous, and a bigger tumble than Miller. But Dawes always raggy around the legs on the tumble series on beam. And we mustn't say, well, that's Dawes. It's not meant to be. Front somersault with a correction might only be a micro deduction, but it's enough. A few of those added together. A very exciting gymnast. Again, a little negative on the jump landing. And full in back out from the double flick. Dawes a great gymnast, undisputedly a great gymnast. A little raggy around the legs on the tumbling, but unfortunately the pressure's just getting at her. And that's like an advertisement with stress written on your brow when you're wobbling out of the jumps. But not a pretty view of her knees and feet from the end of the beam. I know it's not seen at that speed. Full in back out, but she hit not a bad landing. Didn't hold the shape.
Ivankov goes third, 9.481, looking to add a bronze to his gold from the all-around. And the men's vault continues. Yo Hongchul of Korea, a member of the Korean team that was in 8th position in the Barcelona Olympics, and can do the Korean national team a huge favour, hopefully trying to step into the footsteps of Yuok Rayul, the Korean double world champion who has slipped way down in this men's final.
Well, a big vault, and he's gone for broke. First time we've seen that in this championship. Double suki tucked. And I'll explain that. It's a Sukahara vault, and that's a 2.5 backwards somersault. So if we compare what Yuok Rayul did and Misutin, they did the equivalent of this vault forwards. And that was a mighty vault, not a blind landing. You can see it, but even the floor, even though you can see the floor, you cannot alter your flight path once you've left that horse. Takeoff determines flight path, and flight path determines landing.
And we're yet to see two consistent jumps in this final. And Yeo of Korea is the 7th of the 8 finalists, with the European junior champion Murat Kanbas still to come. But Sherbo, whose vaults were good but not exceptional by his standards, but they were two good clean jumps, and the challengers have all had serious errors and mistakes. And as Monica Phelps has pointed out, going for broke and possibly pushing just that a little bit too hard. A 9.674, the 23-year-old from Minsk leads, and as the defending champion and Olympic champion is on target to hold on to that title. 9.425. Well, Monica going for broke for this second vault, maybe an understatement for the Korean now.
He's got to do it. If he doesn't stand a chance of getting into the medals. And when you're only in one final, you'd be a silly man if you just took it easy and didn't take any risks. You'd sit back and kick yourself. You've got to know that you did everything you possibly could. Oh, if he'd produced two like that, a different story. I reckon he should have done that first. He should have done that first. Psyched everybody out, psyched himself up. It was a beaut. There, the handspring, 1.5 somersaults, 1.5 twist, plop, right on the 4-meter mark. Trouble is, you need 2 of those, not 1 in a competition 3. But a bit special, that vault there from Chul.
Well, that could possibly be enough to pull the Korean into the medals, but it's no medals in 94 for Dominique Dawes. Silver a year ago, she now finds herself down in 6th position. We come to the last competitor in the women's beam final, representing China, Huao Ya. Well, a new face for these championships. And we saw a new face in the women's asymmetric bar, Liu Li, and she claimed a gold medal. So the The competition by no means over, but it is still Shannon Miller who leads for the USA.
Nice combination, and statistics create pressure for Kwao because the Chinese have never had gold in a World Championships on beam. Had some superb gymnasts and probably had the best in the world, but they've never got up there and proved it. Going very, very well. Normally the competition temperament is a little bit suspect, but there's nothing suspect about this. Oops, I spoke too soon. 5/10 and she's out. No chance of a medal now. What a shame. Some fabulous jumps. To jump on the beam and arch the head and shoulders back and take the eyes off the beam, very difficult. Oh, she chugged around in that double back piked. She really had to kickstart to get the two somersaults completed. Really under-rotated.
Well, the errors from the newcomer from China can confirm to us that Shannon Miller of the United States of America has claimed the gold in the women's beam. Great shame there, as early on in the routine she was on target to possibly upstage the great American. It's the second gold for Shannon Miller in these championships. Now, third position for Yo, and look at that, 9.775, and as we pointed out in the commentary box, another vault like he had on the second, and that bronze that he's on target for right now could have quite easily turned into a gold medal. Murat Canbas for Turkey, the European junior champion in the 93 championships in Geneva a year ago. And we've seen a European junior champion claim gold in the pommel.
But no chance. This a slightly different situation because the light body weight on floor works for a gymnast. Immaturity on vault, very, very difficult when you move into the men's league. It was a brave effort, very, very difficult vault, but just didn't come off. And I always think the vault in the pucked position, that's sort of bent at the hips like a pike and bent at the knees like a tuck. This assists multiple somersault and twist, but it doesn't look pretty. It only looks pretty if you land it absolutely perfectly.
Seventh position, 9.212 for Kwao. And, well, let's hope that she doesn't get too much of a ticking off from the Chinese coaching, something that we always fear. But disappointment. Well, it's been a World Championships for European junior champions with an amazing form book moving up into the senior ranks. Urzika, they're still talking about that gold medal, claiming the top position in the pommel yesterday. Melissa Nanadis of Greece claiming a silver in the floor, and the third European junior champion on show at this World Champs is Murat Canbas of Turkey. Disappointed on the first, but as Monica Phelps, our expert here in the box, has quite rightly pointed out, possibly the most difficult of all the apparatus for a youngster to come straight in from the junior to the senior ranks and make a big or a great impression.
Unfortunate, but as in my hometown, we'd say it didn't lack any welly. He absolutely went 100% for effort. And watch the vault again closely. The handspring plant, full twist in the first somersault, and half a somersault piked, but really on both occasions just didn't have enough rotation.
Good experience, a name for the notebook. Canbas of Turkey, certainly one to watch for in the Olympic Games of Atlanta in 1996. Well, she's claimed one gold and she's already working out her plan for her second final of the day. Shannon Miller, who will return in a quest to claim her third gold medal of these World Championships in the floor. Canvas there, 7th position, 9.225, which also confirms that Vitaly Scherbo has claimed his second gold medal to go with the bronze that he collected in the all-around championships. Steve Nuno there. Well, he always has time to be friendly to her when she does well, and when she doesn't do so well, his tactic for the youngster is to totally switch off and ignore it. It's all smiles for the Belarusians. A great performance from Vitaly Scherbo, and Shannon Miller adds the gold from the beam to her gold in the all-around competition, and walking just behind her, very disappointing for the defending champion, Lavinia Milicevic. Well, she tried bravely but finishes down in 5th position. Podkopayeva of the Ukraine taking the silver, and Fabrichinova of Russia the bronze in the women's beam competition.
And a very stressful day for all gymnasts and coaches. The final of the competition. It's been 6 days of intensity.
Well, the runner-up placings: Lee Xiaoshuang, the silver medal for China in the men's vault, and the Korean Yo Hang-chul, 3rd position, keeping the Korean tradition in the vault just alive. Classified results: 9.875 for Shannon Miller. Podkopayeva and Fabrichinova, 2 youngsters from Eastern Europe, definitely rising stars, as is Natia Hadigan of Romania, just 18 years of age. Disappointment for Milicevic, who really will have to ask herself some very serious and, well, difficult questions after these championships, whether she will go on for the 85 Worlds in Sabai in Japan and try to come to the Olympic Games in Atlanta in '96 as a 19-year-old competitor, Monica.
Oh, I think that all she has to do is go home and work harder. I have seen and know firsthand that she hasn't been the greatest worker in the world. And up till a certain age, you know, post-pubescently, you can get away with that. But then it's work rate that counts. There's the little lady, work rate. Not the most talented gymnast in the world, really mechanical, but a grafter. You can see it. And all Milicevic has got to do is go home and work as hard as her.
It really is lovely to see Shannon Miller back a year after claiming the gold in Birmingham. And she's grown, she's much taller, but she's also a lot stronger, composed, and as Monica has pointed out, she's certainly not afraid of hard work. That hard work has been rewarded, as Shannon Miller has claimed her second gold medal, and it's gold in what many say is the most difficult apparatus in the women's competition, the beam.
And I just hope that Shannon does it for Shannon and not for Steve Nuno. I know that the relationship between coach and gymnast is special, and I'm not speaking out of turn because I am a coach, and I know it's very difficult when you've worked together and your gymnast gets up there and doesn't think. Yes, it's easy to switch off, and sometimes it's best, if you've got nothing good to say nothing at all. But I think, in fairness, when your gymnast has become the overall champion of the world and she fails to live up to her and your expectations on vault, I think not to put an arm on her shoulder and sympathise is just a touch hard.
Well, it was silver medal in Barcelona for Shannon Miller. It's now gold in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia in '94. And there is another World Championships in Sabai, Japan, and then on to the Olympics in Atlanta 2 years on. What a wonderful dismount, and that really did catch the eye, not only of the judges, but also ourselves here in the commentary box. It's also congratulations to Vitaly Scherbo of Belarus, claiming the vault gold medal and successfully defending his title. Congratulations to China and Korea, claiming the silver and the bronze. Lee Xiaoshuang and Yo of Korea. Ivankov, the all-around champion, settling for 4th. Disappointment for the double world champion Yu in 5th position. Mizutin down in 8th spot. Well, there is the man in action. He's got another 2 opportunities. So we'll take a short commercial break and see if Scherbo can make it 3 out of 3 in just a short while.